Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to another episode of Looking at Nerf Blasters. My name is Luke Triton and today we're going to be covering the Rapidstrike. I think this is going to be a pretty easy video. And before we dive into this, I need to make a few things known. First of all, I'm so sorry for the quality of the last episode and even the last combos episode as well. I'm looking at the screen now, it's looking a little bit better. I left the window open this time, it's not covered. So if I do this, looking at the screen, it doesn't look it still looks really busy and I absolutely hate that, but it's just really difficult to try and get lighting going on with this. Again, this window has to stay closed, otherwise this is just going to be even more brightness and it's just going to make things even worse. But here and now, I think this is the best it can really be. So, that out of the way, let's talk about the Rapidstrike, shall we? I think everyone who has a Nerf collection has one of these, if not more than one, because it's just one of the best blasters I've ever got my hands on. It is the successor to the Stampede, which came out in 2010. This is a 2013 release, and it's still coming out today. It's been re-released in the AccuStrike series as the Stratohawk, which I think is quite cool. I mean, it's an old blaster, yeah, but I like how this is kind of suffering the Strife thing as well. Because it's so popular, it's coming out. It's not got that exclusivity to it. Yeah, pros and cons, I suppose, but if it's still available, you may as well get one. So, yeah, video done, right? Yeah. Let's go over the blast a little bit more, though, before we actually wrap this up. So, Rapidstrike is similar to the Stampede. It is magazine fed, it is battery operated, and it's all done in the front this time instead of the back. If we take a look at the stock of the blaster, you can see that it actually looks so much smoother, looks so much better, it's lighter, has an extending piece, so for older people like myself, it can feel so much nicer when it's in the shoulder. It also has another built-in sight, so if I look down the sight here just below the tactical rail, I can actually see where I'm aiming. It's Nerf, so it's not always going to be accurate, but who really cares? The front sight is a flip sight, kind of similar to how the Recon sight would work, where it flips up and down, and stays in the up and down positions, which is pretty good. And this also has a barrel extension piece, which is something the Stampede did not have. And when people saw this for the first time, they were like, oh my god, I can add all of my barrels, it's going to be so cool. Do I have a barrel I can attach? Yes. Let's go old school, shall we? Oh, Recon barrel. How many people still have the original Recon barrel? Probably some people. I mean, hardcore Nerfers definitely would. They probably have the Retaliator barrel now. Anyway, customization is still very strong with this blaster. It has 5 rails instead of 6. The blaster for, well, the Stampede I should say, is a little bit longer, so I had that second rail up here. I kind of like how this was able to keep the same amount of, well, -1 tack rails, of course. We got the 2 on the top, 2 on the sides, and 1 underneath. It still has, I'm not going to actually grab any more attachments because I kind of want to focus on this. I'm buzzing through this as well. I'm a bit excited about this one because this is kind of an easy video to make. But in all seriousness, yes, this has basically taken everything that was good about the Stampede and made it better. This was not the first blaster actually to use flywheels. This was, I want to say it was the third. We had the Barricade, which introduced it. We had the Raven, that had the kind of modern magazine-fed system that used flywheels. And then we had this, which was the first blaster to use a kind of traditional look for the magazine-fed flywheel operation. Because the Barricade was a revolving pistol, the Raven was a bullpup. This is the first of its kind, so to say. So yeah, let's go with that. Oh, this was such a good blaster. I mean, seriously, who has a Nerf collection but doesn't have one of these? I mean, seriously. This was such a good blaster. And let me tell you a quick story as well. Let me quickly grab the other one, so give me a sec. There we go. So, I have 2 of these. And this is a bit of a weird story because it kind of leads into some good stuff that came from bad stuff. So this is the first one that I bought and this is absolutely knackered. No front barrel attachment piece. You can see if I try and move things around. So here we go. You can see that split down the middle. That's because over half the screws on this side are missing. But it does still work technically and that's okay. But I will be taking this apart to use the tactical rails and some of the other details for custom attachments and modifications in the future. So it's nice to have a broken one, I suppose. This was fairly cheap as well. That's another great thing about the Rapidstrike. This was so cheap. Even now, because I mentioned in the Stampede video that I did previously, it's not easy to try and get a Stampede cheap, but probably because that's just how the Stampede was. This came out at 35, well, I think it was £35 when it came out, and I think it's still selling at £35, which is pretty damn good. Compare it to other blasters that came out, like the new Infinite as well, that's going for £60–70. So you could potentially get 2 of these for the same price of an Infinite. And going online, you can buy these for a tenner, even with the magazine, still really cheap. And that was so good. I missed out on this because I stopped around... What was the last blaster I bought? I think the Centurion was the last blaster I bought back in 2013, I think it was when it released. Everything before Elite, but then I got the Centurion, which, you know, that's not going to be in the series, don't worry about that. But yeah, basically I missed out on this. But now I'm glad I got back on this because, I just love doing that because it feels so comfortable. You have to be a child to hold it like this, right? I mean, you don't actually have that collapsed because it's just so unusable. Look at your hand when you do that. It's like the Salt Man, the Salt Mean Man. That's a meme I haven't seen in a while. Need to get back on the internet, I think, but yes. I'm sorry for constantly doing this, it just feels so good. There's another... I'm going to have to go into the negatives now. Well, just one negative. This is supposed to be the cheek piece. I rest my cheek behind it if I'm going to look down the sights. I don't have to... If I'm doing this, like if I'm having to bring my head forward to actually get it onto the cheek rest, which it isn't even doing. If I put my cheek on the actual cheek piece, I'm looking down the rail, not on the actual sight that was built into the blaster. So that's a bit weird, but I don't know, it works in its own way. I suppose you can make it work how you want it to. But having it like that, man, it kind of looks like I'm really twisting my own neck for it to work. That's the only downside I would say, but all in all, this is a fucking good blaster. Do I really need to go on? Do I need to say more? I don't think so. I suppose we should wrap this up here and now. So, if you are a fan of Nerf and you don't have one of these, why don't you have one of these? This is one of the best blasters that Nerf has ever made, and I strongly suggest you buy one. They're very cheap, they're somewhat plentiful as well. I mean, a lot of people are selling their Nerf collections, and half the time, one of these will be in that bundle. It's such a good blaster, customization is off the charts. Let me quickly just grab a few things. Go on, we'll do this live. Welcome to the customization show with your host, Sunloser. Tell you what I can do. Because I mentioned earlier that it looks like this, well, it was re-released as the Stratohawk. This is what it looks like. So it had a scope, the long-range barrel, and it came with a 25-dart drum. This was all painted orange to match the Rapidstrike line, and the only blaster that I know of outside of the Rapidstrike line that is orange is the Demolisher. Even that got re-released, and it looks really good though in the Modulus colours, but in all seriousness, come on. That is pretty damn cool. I haven't been able to get a hold of a Rapidstrike Stratohawk, mainly because I think it's only based in America. There are some products still that I want to get a hold of, but I can't because it's only based in America, like the new Modulus Demolisher customization pack or whatever it's called. It's got all these crazy new attachments. I want to get one, but I can't because it's American based. Same with the new Long Strike in the Modulus line, that's American based, I think. Because I'm in the UK, life kind of sucks a little bit. But yes, this is something that is available worldwide, and if you are in the UK or anywhere else, get one of these, it's so much fun. If you want to try modding, this is one of the better blasters to try as well, because you can chop off this back area, because this is all just hollow plastic. I've seen people make like an Uzi version where they kind of chop it down to here. I think that's pretty good looking though, it has to be said. It's weird to take a big blaster and make it small, but some people pull it off, so fair enough. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this. I mean, this is still one of the best blasters Nerf has ever made. One of my favourites as well. It's probably above the Stampede, but I say I love the Stampede just because of nostalgia's sakes. So yeah, there it is. Rapidstrike CS-18. I don't know why they... Do they do that anymore still? CS-18, REV6, AS-10, and all the rest. Well, they kind of relate to some, like CS as in clip system, AS as in air system. Like the... Do you remember the... What's it called? The Mag Strike, the one with the top magazine, you got to pump it like that. Oh, such a good blaster. But yes, Rapidstrike, really good blaster, absolutely worth buying, 10 out of 10. Probably buy them for £10 or $10 or your regional equivalent. Easy video to make, a very fun video to make. I got to do the combos video now, so that's going to be good fun. Right, I will end this here because I'm going to start repeating myself, and that's something I need to try and avoid doing because I've done that in a lot of videos, so yes. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stick around for the combos video, which will be coming out soon after this. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.